What's up, guys? Mikey is back. I just got back from Hawaii. Phenomenal vacation. I was pretty much just doing a lot of mental toughness challenges up there, which was phenomenal. Did a lot of training on the beach, a lot of meditation, spiritual things. It was great. Let's dive in. What a great day to come back. I mean, there's a lot of momentum. SMFL, AGRI. Particularly these two had a lot of range. SMFL in the book was phenomenal. Okay, uh, real quick before I dive into that, the daily on this one, you know, this is typically what I like to see. All right, is some type of pre-market structure, either after hour or pre-market structure. Okay, and then it pulled back into a daily area, but more importantly, there's this small gap up. All right, after the stock had a low, consolidated, and then it started to have some pre-market structure, some action. Right, this is cool. Uh, the structure that how this pulled back was actually pretty phenomenal too in the book. But I wanted to dive in real quick and just kind of really show you again how important it is to draw out your zones. All right, to have these pretty much ready to go before you trade, right? This would have been another great one right here because it's a previous consolidation area, so I would have just, I didn't add that one, but I want to just show you now, add it now. It's pretty quick, right? And then you can see how they line up with the book. So someone asked me, hey, how are you utilizing the book with your TOS charts or charting? All right. So before I go into that real quick, in the book and break that down, guys, you gotta chart out the zones, right? And then for me, I have my main up. This is my main. This is what I look at. I don't look at anything else anymore, guys. I deviated away from the charts, candlesticks, and things like that. To me, this is the raw price action or price auction of how they're going to trade these things. And the more you get familiarized with utilizing this rather than candlesticks and things like that, you're going to start understanding how the algo works, how market makers are using. You're going to see if there's big fish on the table, bidders, buyers, right? Or if there's a lot of offers on the book, right? So you're going to get more familiarized. You're going to learn how to hold, maybe scale against certain levels and things like that, okay? Um, so I marked these out. These are my dailies, and then I had a 4-hour zone, and then I didn't really see too much anything else that was standing out when I break it down, right? So I go through this list, 2 hour, 1 hour, and if I have to, I'll hit the 30-minute, right, and zoom out. But I didn't really see too much of that. Okay, so that's how I'm just doing a quick rundown of how I utilize Bookmap with my charting. So once I know where I'm at, on the chart of breaking down zones, supply, demand, right? Previous breakdowns, consolidations, it broke down. Consolidated breakdown. It attempted and it failed, right? So you could put just a pivot right here and understand that, 291 is a significant level, right? For me, I like to have the consolidation areas and break down because I'm going to show you why this area to me stuck out so much, particularly before it went right over here. Okay, this was a big deal to me. This area right here before this made new highs. All right, so you're looking at a stock that goes from 290s to 560. That's a phenomenal return for a long. All right, you got to understand too a couple things that the range on this one is a lot more than our average, right? Penny stock or some other tickers that might give you like a 50-cent return, a dollar maybe, but this one's cranking out over $2.50-60 right here, right? 270 to be exact, right? So that's a phenomenal return, right? Be getting really big into just trading less, right? I trade less now, and I just look for good percent returns. All right. So I won't sit there and trade something 100,000 times anymore, or try to trade 15 different tickers. You know, I don't look if I miss one move, that's fine. I utilize the book to see if it's good enough for me to trade. Right. Real quick too, I thought this was a nice pullback right before open. All right. I thought this, it's very nice to see that even when things pulled back right? This area right here is not staying heavy, or there was no controlled walk down. All right, this thing pulled back to a previous area of interest before it took off. So it's very important to start understanding how or why the algo is working. Maybe they didn't get enough shares. Okay, market makers are pulling back so they can accumulate at a cheaper price, whatever it is. All right, I want to dive into before this thing actually went parabolic. Again, guys, I love these W patterns. All right, this is a W pattern, and this is also a nice higher low right here and right here. Now, before this thing took off, this is that 280s level. All right, and remember that 280s level. All right, I want to show you something too. This is absorption. To me, this is absorption. This is also some control, and then this is someone coming over here and wiping out this offer. All right, they remove the liquidity on the book. All right, so as all these sellers get absorbed, keep in mind this price level, $3, 280s, right? These guys get absorbed, right? There's a bidder right here that tries to hold this up, and you got to remember, spread the chart, because if you're sitting like this on the book, guys, it's going to be very important. You might think like, oh, this guy got absorbed. They didn't even come down close to it yet. Okay, this is an area where they get absorbed right here. Okay, and then over here, and then even down here. All right, so this is an area where sellers get absorbed. All right, I just recently did a video of where you see buyers get absorbed. Actually, Saito is a great example too, and I'll show you that. Actually, I'll show you that really quick. Okay, it's very important to understand when you see buyers and sellers get absorbed, right? Saito this morning. Oops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Sorry about that. You can see buyers come in here, remove the liquidity on the offer side here and over here. Okay, and they tried one more time over here. All right, so these are the buyers getting absorbed. All right, and Saito had a way different daily. So really quick too, I want to show this because it's very important to understand. This is a micro clear out. All right, on the daily right here. That's called a micro clear out. All right, you can draw your little line or whatever. That's cool. Right, boom. 72 cents, right? All right. This thing had a lot of structure. This had a lot of after hour and then pre-market structure. So this thing couldn't even make new highs of the pre-market, and then look at all the volume that came in. There's a lot of volume coming into Saito, but what does it do? It breaks new highs, all right, on the daily, and then there's no more follow through on this one. All right, so that's a different type of daily with different type of structure. Okay, very important to understand. All right, SMFL kind of did it a lot different, right? This is one that has a nice gap. Okay, this gapped up, this started to consolidate and take off, right? This had some structure over here that needed to reclaim. Okay, so when things start to set up, all this did was consolidate and put in some higher lows here, here, and then right here. But more importantly, they did it above a nice daily level, right? That's that 280s that I was talking about right here. I'm sorry, right here. So anywhere, this thing could have held anywhere from 280s and 260s. I would have been super interested in this one, okay? Super important. All right, but now let's dive into the book on SMFL. All right, this is that pattern that we saw right here. All right, I like this nice W pattern, and then it started to consolidate and hold above those 280s. All right, it's very important to start breaking this down. Okay, when you break things down like this, guys, I want to see this is a seller getting absorbed. 30,000 shares and about 14,000 shares and another 5,800, so about 6K. And after that, there's a nice bidder that stays on the tape. All right, and then what happens? Look at the best offer, or sorry, best bids right here. Sellers get exhausted. All right, sellers get exhausted. They throw a little offer right here to control price action, and then someone takes this off. You see this offer up here, he gets pulled, right? There was an 8K offer, cool. As soon as price action starts to run into it, they get pulled. Now some of you didn't want to get filled right here. Now you're going to see this on both sides, right? You're going to see this on the offer side and the bid side. You're going to see bids getting pulled, spoofs. You're going to see offers getting pulled, spoofs. They don't want to get filled here, whether it's algo, somebody else, right? Very important to see. Okay. Now W patterns. I love these W patterns. Okay. Any W pattern that takes place is very important that we want to see this area break. The top of the W pattern where it started to form. I've been tracking these a lot now. All right, this thing pulls back right here. So if you see this thing pulls back right here to previous areas of interest. All right, and sellers get exhausted again. Same concept as earlier. All right, on these best bids, there's not a lot of selling pressure going on over here, and then there's not a lot of offers, right? Or the book doesn't flip and then start to get heavy, which you'll see after about 1400 on this name. All right, this is a nice little book flip right here, SMFL. Okay, you see as things start to crank out, break, right? This is the beginning of this pattern right here. This is the W part. It starts to break out, then you got bidders stepping in right here. So the book now starts to flip, pulls back. There's some profit taken, right? That's cool. Maybe some shorts. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. The most important thing is now I'm starting to see this thing sustain, and then the bidders are staying on the book, and then they start to attack these next areas, right? These next magnets, these next offers. Okay, the ideal goal for this one was for it to make new highs. This thing went from a nice 280s all the way to 560s, 540s. It was a phenomenal play. All right, here goes another book flip right here. Sorry, you probably hear my kids in the background. All right, this is nice. This is what I like to see. This is how Mikey holds. This is phenomenal. How do I stay in the game long enough to get a max return? Well, guys, I utilize the book. In any situation, I utilize the book. All right. Now, as this thing started to set, so now I remember in the very beginning, I see this thing pull back. There's not a lot of offers. It starts to take off. The book's not really heavy yet. This is the difference. To me, this is the book flipping. This becomes backside. Okay. Wow. This thing fell off a cliff. Okay. I don't really stick around for any of this. I usually take all my profits up top and just be super grateful and show gratitude for the move, right? That's super important. All right, so backside. All right, so you can see the difference right here, you know, front side of a move versus the back side of a move. And I have a lot of videos and you can see them. And you can see, hey, now the book is starting to really flip and the offers are staying pretty stacked. Look how stacked this was. All right. Guys, that's pretty much all I got for this one. Again, if you're breaking these down and seeing the levels that they run into, these are daily levels. Consolidates, pull back, sustains. The book doesn't get heavy right here against 330s on these pullbacks, right? What do we got? 1140. All right. This is that 1140 pullback right here, right? When this thing pulls back, it's not getting super heavy, or you're not seeing some of this price auction going on the book. All right, that's imperative. That's important to see the difference. Okay, and more importantly, guys, when things pull back as a long, and how I utilize the book is, I want to see sellers get exhausted after you start to see some of the bids get removed. Right, some of the liquidity gets removed. Is this staying heavy? Is this pulling back? And now do I have big offers? Is it pulled back and it's getting heavy? You know, no, that doesn't happen here. All right. And if you see the difference right here is now this thing is pulling back and there's offers immediately getting thrown up. All right. A lot different. Okay. Now as this starts to continue, you can see that there's not that much bid support going on over here. There's not many book flips happening. Okay. And what does it do? Runs into another big offer. All right. There's no one removing the liquidity on this. In fact, it taps it, but there's no one removing any of the liquidity on this. All right, and now there's no true bid support, and then price action starts to come back in. Right, so we're sitting up here against 448s and coming back already to 419s, 420s. All right, and you can see that there's no buyers interested, and then it continues to pull back. Okay, super important. All right. Now, again, you can see how these offers are coming in, and then there's no more interest on the best offer, right? I mean, everyone's pretty much getting filled in between the bids and the spread. You can see right here, it'll say spread right there, right? Important, right? And then you can, at any given time, you can, without even looking at the level two or your whatever, you can understand that there's you know, a spread going on from 403 all the way to 417. So what is that? 14 cents. You got a 14-cent spread going on pretty, multiple times throughout this ticker. All right, until it tightens up. All right, this is pretty cool, right? You want to see a little book flip on the other side. So when this thing comes down right here, 405s, cracks and immediately throws up an offer. All right, look what happens. Price action comes straight back down, comes way in before it tries to bounce and stuff like that. And then you can see how the book side on the offer side starts to come heavily stacked. All right, super, super important, right? This book map is phenomenal, guys. I mean, just, yeah, staying tuned. All right, guys. Hey, much love. Peace out, Mikey.